You're thinking about possibly making a move to Indianapolis, but not positive if it's the right place for you? Well, in this video, we are going to show you the pros, the cons, the good and the bad, all that good stuff, and we're going to get after it right now. So, if you are curious about all things Indianapolis and this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, tap that bell so that you are the first to know about any changes here in our local Indianapolis market. My name is Shauna Brooks, and my husband Jason and I and the rest of the team, we get calls, emails, texts from people just like you every day, and whether you are looking to make a move next week, next month, or even next year, it is never too early to reach out. We're happy to help you any way we can. So we are coming to you today from the Indianapolis Canal, which is about a 3-mile strip that runs from about 11th Street down here to White River State Park, which is where we are right now. And you can kind of see a little bit of the skyline up here behind me. You can see the JW Marriott Hotel. Behind me as well, you can see the Indiana State Museum. There's a lot of stuff to do down here at the canal. We're here in the middle of the week on a weekday afternoon, so it's not as crowded, but at any given time you could see walkers, bikers, kayakers, people on pedal boats, just lots of stuff going on. There's lots of stuff to do nearby. You've got Victory Field right across the street if you want to take in a baseball game. You've got museums all around, the Indianapolis Zoo, so definitely lots of stuff to do here at the canal. And over here, maybe you can see kind of behind me right there is the TCU Amphitheater, which is a fun place to catch an outdoor concert as well. So again, just lots of stuff to do down here at the canal. Now, we promised that we would talk to you about the pros and cons of living in Indianapolis. Number one pro, without a doubt, of living in Indianapolis has to be affordability. Whether you are talking about the price of homes or the price of rent, heck, even a gallon of milk in Indianapolis is going to be cheaper for you than in most parts of the country. We also compete with gas prices, even with doctor's bills, hospital bills. No matter what you're talking about, Indianapolis is one of the cheapest places anywhere in the U.S. for you to live. So one of the big selling points of people here in the area is definitely affordability, by all means. By the way, I brought a friend along today. She's actually a friend, a past client, a margarita buddy, walking partner. Stacy, you have been a lifelong Indiana resident near Indianapolis. What would you say your favorite thing about living in Indy is?
Well, one of my favorite things about Indy is that there's always so much to do. Whether it's checking out a sporting event downtown, which I love to do, whether it's an Indians game or Colts game, which, you know, Colts right now, we won't talk about that, but something like that, or, you know, there's always such great places to eat around here. Just walking down Mass Ave, there's things to do.
Yes.
Downtown Indy life is just fun, so everybody likes to hang out downtown. I love it.
Absolutely. Lots of fun stuff, like
Lots
family-friendly stuff.
Family-friendly or single people friendly. There's always something for people to do. I think you could live here being a single adult, or you could live here as a family, because there's so much to do for either.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So another pro about living in Indianapolis is that there is tons to do, especially if you're a sports buff. I mean, the Colts aren't having the best season ever, but we do have an NFL team. We've got the Pacers. We've got Indy 11. We've got the Indianapolis Indians are a minor league baseball team, and that field, that whole venue is very family friendly, very fun. You can throw a blanket in the grass, spend the night there. Lots of good times. Of course, in the month of May, we have the Indianapolis 500, and the whole month of May is essentially a party. There's something going on. You can go to the track almost any day that month, as long as the weather is cooperating, and watch them practice. That's a lot of fun. Carb Day is a total party, a little wild. And then in August, you've got the Brickyard 400 for NASCAR racing. Just always something going on. Lots and lots of family-friendly sort of activities. We have festivals going on all the time. There's always a 5K or something going on in the city. Lots of great places to eat with lots of variety. So no matter what you have a hankering for, you're probably going to be able to find it, whether it's Greek, Italian, Japanese, good old Hoosier food, you need a tenderloin, whatever, you are going to find it downtown Indy. So another pro of living in Indianapolis has to be what is referred to as good old-fashioned Hoosier hospitality. So whether a tree has fallen down in your yard after a wonderful Indiana spring storm, or whatever the case may be, you're probably going to have neighbors that are just coming out with chainsaws, willing to pitch in and help you. That's just kind of the Hoosier spirit that we have. There is lots of great community involvement, a lot of volunteerism, a lot of philanthropy that actually takes place in Indianapolis. There's always, it seems like, something going on where you can contribute either financially or participate in a 5K to help raise money for stuff. Stacy, you were just in a 5K, weren't you? Rock the Block?
I was.
And what were you raising money for?
Well, you got to pick what charity. Actually, they gave you a list to pick from. So mine had to do with youth, homeless youth in Johnson County.
Very cool. Is that with Kick It?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, definitely a perk about, whether you're from Indianapolis or you're new to the area, I think that you're going to feel welcome here, and I think that people are going to invite you in, you're going to make friends easily, and that is definitely a pro of living in Indianapolis. So we've talked about some of the good things, some of the pros of living in Indianapolis, and like any major city, it has its cons as well. And I would say, unfortunately, right now, anybody you would ask that lives in Indy would probably say the #1 negative would have to be crime. And I'm not positive if it is because of the pandemic, but that's when it really became more noticeable, and that's probably true around, across a lot of big cities, but crime used to never be a problem in Indianapolis. In fact, you could go downtown Indy late at night, you could feel perfectly safe whether you were alone or with a group of other girls, whatever. You would see families with small kids out and about, but all of that has kind of changed. And there's been more rioting, there's been more violence. I don't know if that's because there's just more tension in our country in general, or if there's more economic pressure that people feel like they have to act out in a certain way. But overall, I think if you compared Indianapolis to other major cities, probably our crime is less compared to other big cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, but we have just been spoiled here for so long with a really, really low amount of crime that the fact that crime has increased has definitely got our attention. So unfortunately, I would say a major negative in Indianapolis right now would be the amount of crime. So, if you live in Indianapolis, another con, now this could probably be a pro or a con, but another con that a lot of people will cite is Indiana weather. Now, if you're one that just wants mild weather, the same weather all year round, like my brother brags about in San Diego, where it's mid-70s, no humidity, 365 days a year. You're not going to get that in Indiana. But the change of seasons, I think, is kind of cool. Like behind me, you can kind of see this red bud that's in bloom. Spring is a great time for flowering trees. There's just a lot of variety in our weather in Indianapolis. Now, we have really, really hot summers where it can be humid and nasty in August, and then we have really, really freezing cold temperatures in the winter, in December, in January, in February. This is why whenever, if you are looking at houses in Indianapolis or anywhere in the surrounding areas, walk into the garage or into the basement, you're probably going to see a big crack. Don't be surprised by that. It's because we have really, really hot summers and really, really cold winters. But the color and the variety is really neat too. Now, if you've got allergies, spring might be a little, might drive you a little nuts. You may have to pop an extra allergy pill. But in the fall, the temperatures are just really perfect. There's lots of color, lots of variety. But for a lot of people, they will tell you Indiana weather is a con. However, the good point is, what they will also tell you is if you don't like the weather in Indiana, just wait a few minutes. It'll change. Okay, so for our third and final con of living in Indianapolis, I would have to say it was kind of hard to pinpoint this last one, but it all has to do with our streets and our roads and traffic and construction. So in Indianapolis, we're known as the crossroads of America. So we've got a lot of great interstates running north and south, east and west, whatever. But for whatever reason, our fair city thinks it's a great idea to work on all of them at the same time. So, we're kind of spoiled when they're not working on stuff. We can get from one side of town to the other in about 30 minutes, no problem. So when you're used to that and then you get stuck with construction, a 30-minute drive becomes 45 minutes, or a 40-minute drive becomes an hour. So that's not so fun. And then you go back to, remember all the variations in our weather? Well, that causes some potholes in the wintertime, and that's not fun when your car hits one of those really hard. So I would say a con of being in Indianapolis is our roads and is our traffic and the construction that seems to constantly be going on. However, at the end of the day, I'm gonna say that our pros definitely outweigh our cons, and Indianapolis truly is a really great place to live. If you've got questions or just want to know more about our local Indianapolis market, again, be sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and you will always be in the know with all things Indianapolis. We'll see you next time.